Hello, everyone. I'm Payton.
I'm Sam.
And this is Uncontrolled Population.
And today we got a few topics to talk about. One of which is Payton had surgery.
He did.
Woohoo! Congratulations,
thank
dude.
you.
I'm glad you're on the mend.
Thank you.
We'll definitely talk a little bit more about that later. But for right now, I'm going to drop it over to you. What's going on in the current events?
Yeah, thanks, Sam. So, first of all, happy Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month.
Today we are this is all from the zeneducationproject.org. But it's about teaching people's history. And so today I am talking about Claudette Colvin, which she actually passed away this year, I think about a month ago. But she, for those who don't know, she was a 15-year-old girl. And we all know the story of Rosa Parks, where she refused to give up her seat for a white lady and stuff. But actually, the story comes from Claudette Colvin about 9 months before the incident with Rosa Parks happened.
So it actually happened to her first, and yep. Rosa Parks' incident kind of overshadowed that through history.
I think
because everybody knows about Rosa Parks.
Right. I think it was, people have like speculation on, because for instance, she was 15, and she was a dark-skinned Black woman. So there's kind of some speculation that she didn't fit the narrative of what they wanted of like society and stuff. And so there's also some other things, but truly I don't know kind of why that happened. But just the fact, though, that she was 15, she kind of talked about in this, she was from so I'll just go over her story a little bit. So she's 15. It's March 2nd, 1955 in Montgomery, Alabama. And she refused to give up her seat to a white woman. And Colvin was basically motivated by what she had been learning in school about African-American history and the U.S. Constitution. So basically she went to Booker T. Washington High School, and she had been politicized basically by the mistreatment of her classmate, Jeremiah Reeves, and had just written a paper on the problems of downtown segregation. So this is during like the civil rights, all the racial stuff going on, Jim Crow South.
Do we know who Jeremiah Reeves was while he was getting prosecuted by chance?
I don't. I'm sure.
Good. We can.
I'm sure though it was him not being treated fairly at school. But basically, that day she's riding home on the bus, and the bus was super full, and a white woman was left standing, and the driver called out, and 3 students sitting in Colvin's row got up and moved, but Colvin refused. She said, "We've been studying the Constitution. I knew I had rights." And Colvin's case went to trial in May, and Colvin had been charged with 3 crimes. The judge strategically dropped 2 of the charges for it was disturbing the peace and breaking the segregation law, but found her guilty on the 3rd for assaulting the officers who had arrested her.
What?
Yeah. So since Colvin had only been convicted of assault, appealing her case could not directly challenge the segregation law.
So they strategically.
The system upheld, obviously, white supremacy and stuff. So, but yeah, they said that this was 9 months before Rosa Parks refused to move on the bus in Montgomery. Parks knew Colvin from the NAACP Youth Council and was inspired in part to take her action by Colvin. So, wow. Basically, Rosa Parks was inspired. And
that's awesome.
I want to touch on that because I've been seeing a lot of kids. As we know, there's a bunch of ICE raids going on, and, we talk about the Trump regime and all that shit.
Yeah.
And so the amount of kids I've been seeing protesting, going out of school, like, it's really fucking cool.
I'm so proud, dude.
I'm so proud because it's like it's just crazy that kids can see the injustices of the world and like some adults can't, like, or refuse to. But there's been now 2 incidents that I've seen on TikTok, and it makes me think about World Star, when there used to be the World Star
I remember that
fighting videos. But basically now 2 times, 2 adults white people. The first one was a white guy came and tried to disrupt a student protest, so minors. And he ended up targeting some of the girls and trying to hit the girls. Of
course he did.
Yeah, a grown-ass man. And so all the kids attacked him, beat his ass. He got arrested. And he got sentenced because obviously, why are you trying to fight with fucking kids?
Yeah, seriously. Why are you starting shit?
That's so weird. That's literally so weird. And so, but yeah, he got his ass beat and got arrested. So we love that. But then the second video I just saw today was, again, this stupid bitch white lady came and was antagonizing all these students, again, minors.
Karen.
And was like recording them and like laughing at them. And she started trying to get like a little too close and kind of invoke some shit. And so then obviously there was some pushing going on, and it kind of looked like she hit some kid or something. And so, oh my God, all the kids attacked her too. She was getting her hair pulled. Like, it was so funny. She looked so scared. And it's like, that's what you deserve. Because why are you
antagonizing minors, dude?
That's so fucking weird. That's literally, and it's like, she probably voted for that pedo. So
definitely.
And that's the other thing that's going on right now too, is all the government stuff basically prosecuting the Epstein files, and like Pam Bondi's in it, just being I hate her. She's the worst. She hasn't even like acknowledged the victims.
I'm a little behind because obviously I'm really not on social media right now. I'm off of TikTok because I didn't agree with their terms of service, and that was it for me.
Now you can't turn off your location on TikTok.
Yeah, definitely, guys, especially nowadays, whenever you're agreeing to an update or the terms of service, even if you don't read the whole thing, go online and like look up like 2026 TikTok's terms of service change, and it'll tell you like what's going on, especially if you use a resource like Reddit. Also, use it with a little bit of salt, obviously, because it's Reddit. But there's resources if you just don't want to read the whole thing that will kind of give you the spiel of it. TikTok is one that you can't turn off the location service. And we already know that TikTok is
new one.
Yeah, it is a new one, because before, especially on the Apple settings, or if you're using Android or Samsung, you could turn that off. You have the chance to turn that off, but you can't anymore. It doesn't even show up as an option on at least because I use an iPhone. Like, it wouldn't show up for me.
Yeah.
Not that I agreed to it either.
So he deleted it.
It's scary. Yeah. And like, please just watch out for it. But I don't know what's going on right now as much as Payton does. So what is going on with Pam Bondi, and what's going on with the Epstein files? So
basically, there's still a bunch of redacted information when they've been ordered to unredacted.
Of course.
People are trying to like, I guess the Congress members are trying to like go and get the information and read the unredacted stuff, but stuff's still redacted. So basically, stupid Attorney General Pam Bondi is just basically being horrendous, not helping at all, protecting the pedophiles that she's working for. She's literally making it hard at every stop and literally fucking over the American people. She said nasty stuff. She literally is like basically lying under oath as well.
I heard about something like that earlier today.
Yeah, so I personally do not get super involved in the details of the Epstein files just because it's a little triggering for me. But I do obviously know the basics. Who's in it? I know Trump's a pedophile, Epstein, all the friends. I know some extent of what's going on, unfortunately. But yeah, it's the most heinous shit I think I've ever heard about in my life. Like heinous, disgusting.
And it's far wider than they want us to know about, but the cracks are showing. Like, you told me a little bit about that earlier. I don't know if you want to go into detail, but
yeah, we'll skip that. It's a little triggering.
Yeah, it is. If you really want to know, guys, you have to be prepared to hear some shit you don't want to know. And I think that's the scariest thing about nowadays, is you don't necessarily want to know the hard truths that come with what's getting unearthed. And they use it to their advantage, because they'll use their words or they'll use laws in order to twist it in a way where you won't be able to get that information if you're not pushing for it, which is why, like, I side with talking about it, even if it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's like a character point for me, is like, even if it's uncomfortable, it still needs to be talked about.
Oh, I agree.
Especially because it's uncomfortable.
And they need to be prosecuted, honestly, because
Absolutely.
it's like you can't walk around doing this heinous shit and like just get away with it. Like, I think, and that's the point we're seeing, I think, in America, is that people are finally being like, actually, this shit's really fucked up. It's finally reached at least some white people of like, hey, dude, this shit's not cool. But again, like we've talked about before, like all this shit we've seen right now is not new. This has been happening to Black and brown people for centuries at this point. It's basically always been a fascist regime here,
and
but
gay
now
and
it's
trans as well.
Yeah, and it's reaching, you know, the main society, and it's reaching white people. People are no longer able to kind of hide from that kind of stuff. It's like in your face.
Because it's no longer just people of other skin colors and of
It's
other
everyone.
genders. It's everybody. Like, it's white people, it's Asian Americans, Black Americans, Latino, gay Americans, trans Americans, everybody
Everyone.
that doesn't agree with what they want their narrative to be is at risk. And me and Payton are at risk.
Yeah.
Honestly, but we continue to still do this because
it's important.
I am not going to be fucking silenced because of fear. I refuse to let fear rule my life.
I agree. Because then it's like, okay, if we're all fearful, no one's talking about anything, it's like, it's going to go down so easily. Like, it's like, always gotta fight back, resistance, whatever you can do. Like, you gotta keep doing something.
And we talked about last time and the time before that, where if you don't want to go out to the protests and actually be on the front lines, you don't have to be.
Right.
You're not, we would love it if you did, but you do not have to. So even small acts, they go a long way.
They do. Like, honestly, me and Steph have been, she works for this restaurant on Colfax, and the owner packs up some food, or sometimes she'll pack up food, and then we have been driving around and like trying to find people that are hungry and like just help out our community where we can. And it's just like, it's a very small act, but it's just like, at the end of the day, at least one person at least is getting a meal. They can make it to the next day. So it's like, again, we don't always have to be out there doing that. It's like, babysit for your friend that maybe does want to go to protest, or make a meal for your elderly neighbor, shovel their snow. So yeah, just if everyone could do one act of kindness a day, I think it would, you know, help our community. Intentional
act of kindness, because we can go throughout our day just living it, and also as a byproduct, you know, have those acts of kindness. But it's a different story when you're intentionally looking for a way that you can contribute.
Yeah.
And that often leads to more happening. And we need more of that. We need this to grow, because they are growing as well. So that's the end of my spiel. I don't know if you want to continue on the topic, but we also have the football halftime show to discuss, which I didn't watch.
I did.
I heard it was X, Y, and Z amazing. So awesome. I'm glad that you watched it. So what happened? Okay,
so for those that don't know, there is this big controversy around it because Bad Bunny, or his name's Benito, he was asked to be the performer. And for those that don't know, he's Puerto Rican, which Puerto Rico is part of the United States territory, so it's part of the United States. He's an American citizen. People were mad because he's a Spanish artist. And so there was a lot of controversy around that, because they're like, oh, well, this is America. Like, he's not even speaking in English. But it's like, Puerto Rico is part of the United States, for people that don't know. And we actually don't have a national language. So I think it's really amazing that an entire community got to see someone that looked like themselves on screen. And he even, Steph was my translator, shout out to her. But she was telling me that he was kind of saying, when he was like walking toward the camera, of like, yeah, I believed in myself, and like, look where it got me. Like, keep believing in yourself. Like, the message was so Like, honestly, I did cry during it because I was just like, it was also the most watched halftime show at 135 million people.
Damn.
So that beat out Kendrick Lamar was last year's. He beat the record of most watched halftime show. But at first, the person that held it the longest was Michael Jackson. And for people that don't know, the halftime show actually has not been around that long. It used to be kind of like a boring little, not great, like it wasn't good. Like they had literally like Mickey and Minnie like dancing on the field. Like it just was not a good one. But also, happy Black History Month for this fact. There was a TV show that put out their own program during one of the halftime shows before it got like super popular. And they saw that a bunch of viewers from the NFL left watching that to go watch the other show. And so that's when the NFL realized, like, oh shit, like we lost so many viewers, like we need to basically make the halftime show better. And so then they started getting people like Michael Jackson, and honestly a lot of the performers were Black and brown people, and they brought huge crowds. And so Michael Jackson held the title of the most watched halftime show. And like, imagine watching Michael Jackson at the halftime show. Like, that's fucking amazing. But yeah, so Kendrick Lamar beat it last year with, I think, 133 million. And then, this year, Bad Bunny beat it by 135 million. And so a lot of his messages were really cool. They actually had a couple on there that invited Bad Bunny to their wedding. And so he invited them to the Super Bowl. So the couple that got married was actually like, they really got married on the thing. And then a lot of the businesses were businesses he was highlighting. Like one of them was this lady, and she's the owner of, I think, the last like Puerto Rican club in New York. And so he had her on there. A bunch of businesses on there. So represent your community. That's awesome. And then I was even really excited as a pink collar worker, which is like obviously like in the beauty industry, like hairstylist, nail tech, esthetician, all that stuff. But they had a nail tech on there doing nails. So a little shout out to that.
Are these, I'm sorry, I didn't watch it, so I didn't know. Are they just doing like commercials or representing commercials, or are these like things that are happening on the field as the halftime show is happening? What?
Yes. So basically they're bringing like all the props and stuff to the halftime or to the fields. So they have a limited amount of like, they have to get on, set up and off. So it was kind of like, it looked like I'm trying to think, like it had a bunch of like grass, and then like they were walking through this like almost like kind of like a field type of thing. And so the businesses were just kind of parked at every like corner. And as he was singing, he like walked through. And so the grass was actually costumes of people. So like people were just like in these costumes of grass. Because obviously they have to quickly move everyone on and off. And then they also had a nod to the power lines, like those, like what you see outside the power lines. Because in Puerto Rico, they have a very, like, what's the word? Like the power grid is not updated, and so they have a lot of like rolling blackouts and all these issues, and then unstable energy and stuff like that. So a lot of the times like people go without power and stuff. So, and that got worse after that hurricane they had there, and then Trump was fucking horrible to them as well. So
who was he not horrible to?
No, literally,
except for other white rich bastards.
No, literally. So yeah, but there was just the whole message was about like, he even at the end he was like, God bless America, and then he also listed all the countries in all of North and South America, because he's like,
awesome.
Yeah, like we're all Americans, like North and South. Even shouted out like Canada, like because Peru, like we're all Americans. Like so it was a very cool thing to see. Like there was even a little boy on there that he gave his Grammy to, and to obviously show that it's like, oh, like this was me when I was a kid, you know what I mean? I'm trying to think some of the other ones that were really cool.
You mentioned symbolism.
Yeah, there was just a lot of symbolism of like, I feel like they had a lot of like hardworking people that they were trying to portray and like trying to show, and it was about like kind of highlighting like the culture in general, and it was really cool to see just how much they put time and effort into this with everything going on with ICE.
Right.
And yeah, it was really cool. And I guess he wore a jersey with 64, and it was for his uncle that he used to watch sports with. And I did see a thing that the favorite team that the uncle liked is where they ended up playing. But yeah, his uncle did pass away.
Oh,
so yeah, he
peace.
had a little thing for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just really cool to see like everyone all together. They did have Lady Gaga. She was another special guest.
Cool. Nice.
Another
Super Bowl halftime show performer.
Yes. Yeah. And they have a really cool relationship. People were kind of confused on why Lady Gaga was there, but Bad Bunny is, I guess, a huge Lady Gaga fan and like loved her music and stuff. So I love that for him.
Yeah.
But I saw more people talking about, and obviously like I don't speak Spanish, so like I'm taking, I don't have the for sure, whatever, but that people were talking about, he said before Lady Gaga got on of like, oh, is this what you want type of thing? Because everyone was so mad that it wasn't like a white performer speaking English. So then they had Lady Gaga, and like when you look at her appearance, like they made her look super, super white, like super blonde hair, pale skin, and then it's like she was still like involved in the culture and stuff. So I just feel like there was a lot of things of trying to show of like, okay, we're better together than apart, and he really, really pushed that narrative, which I really appreciated.
I was just about to ask, like, what narratives do you feel like were very present, and do you feel like the ones that were present were directly countering ICE and the current presidency?
Yeah.
Their narrative.
Yeah, honestly, like I think it just showed that, Hispanic people, Latino people, like however people want to identify, I just think it showed them as like just happy and loving and such a beautiful and rich culture, and how many people it brought together. And like honestly, I still keep crying at videos on TikTok of seeing people's reactions to the Super Bowl, because they're just so happy to see someone that looks like them on the screen, and like just how much that means to people. You know what I mean? We talk about representation all the time, and it is really important. And so I think, yeah, he just really pushed the narrative of like love is stronger than hate. And yeah, I really enjoyed the theme of it, honestly, especially in this day and age.
I do too. Even if I didn't watch it, I love the fact that it's like all inclusive. It's meant to represent like the outliers, so to speak, the ones that aren't the. Well, I'm actually curious about that. Are there more white people in America than there are?
Actually, so that's why white supremacy is so rampant right now, is because they're trying to push the narrative, because there's actually more black and brown people than white people. I was just
about to ask.
And so that's why they're trying to push white supremacy.
They're not even the majority. They just want everybody else thinking that they're the majority.
Yeah. So they're pushing white America really fucking bad right now.
I bet they are. But it's really crumbling, because like there's a bunch of holes in it, things that just don't make sense. Things that younger generations are picking up on way more, because they have like more of a, I don't want to say like a blank slate. Yeah. But I feel like they're less biased, or because like they're still young, they're still making their way, and their identities are still being developed, and they're questioning.
Yes. I love that they're questioning.
I love that they're questioning too. And it's important to question, like, why the hell are these things in place? Why is it that this person gets persecuted and segregated more than this person? Just because of the color of their skin? Like, why has this been going on so long?
Right.
Why is it that we have this orange doofus in office right now, and he's controlling all of these idiots that are, pedophiles, like the trolls, the pedophiles on the internet, the ones that wouldn't dare show their face in public unless it's behind a mask. And it's a fucking crazy ass world that's going on right now.
No,
but
it
really is important and I think I've said this before, both on Fires of Change, as well as Sam and Chef, as well as on this podcast itself. It's so important to have that light in the darkness.
Yeah.
And not to give up hope. And I feel like that really was, from just listening to you about the Super Bowl, something that was pushed very hard of like, just because shit seems like it's really dim, you have to see past that. You have to see past the darkness and see the light.
Well, yeah, and like the joys and the resistance, like we talked about. It's like, at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to get us through is joy. And so it was like really cool to be hopeful and joyful, and like how many people were so happy and you could feel it. And it was like it was a very cool experience.
Yeah. I wish that I would have at least watched the halftime show live. I was unfortunately streaming on Twitch at that time because this game started at like 4:30, I believe.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't watch football. Like
I couldn't have cared less about the Seahawks and the Patriots.
Yeah. But I will say I am glad the Seahawks won because it's a woman is like an owner or whatever of the team, and she also hates Trump. So I was like, yes, matriarchy's winning.
Absolutely. And also, fuck the Patriots too, because they've won way too goddamn much. Yeah. And I was thinking the whole time, like no joke, I was thinking the whole time, because they're called the Patriots, that the Trump regime would be backing them because they're patriots and they're patriotic, and because they're like the top dog essentially of like the most Super Bowls and I feel like
they uphold, honestly, the patriarchy the most. Like, I just think so too. The energy that team gives off. I'm like, I don't like it.
Like, always portraying evil. Like, sorry, but like having the white guy be the quarterback constantly, which I'm not a football person. I don't know the metrics about that. Yeah. But I know that every time that I think about the Patriots, it's always a white guy. And I wouldn't be surprised if the whole team as a majority is majority white.
I
don't know.
I know. We obviously don't even watch. We don't even watch
I'm not a football head at all. I sometimes cheer for the Broncos if they're like close like this year, but that's the extent of it. But yeah,
we're not football people.
Not football people. But
yeah, the whole vibe of that team, I don't know.
I'm glad that they lost.
I just don't like them. So I'm glad that they lost, honestly. But yeah.
Let's transition a little bit over to the meat and potatoes of this episode, which is the fact that Payton had her surgery. Congratulations, dude. You. I'm so glad that you're on the other side of it. I know that you chatted a little bit with me off camera about the post things. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what happened? Like, how'd the surgery go? What happened? How were you feeling afterwards?
Okay, yeah. Good questions. Okay, so I got a fallopian tube removal surgery. So basically they go in, I still have my ovaries and I still have my uterus, but they basically take out the little tube connecting the two. So no longer can I drop eggs or anything like that. So it just stops my reproductive system as far as that.
Question. Actually, never mind. I don't want to ask that question right now. I'll ask it later. Never mind.
So basically, and then I also did get my IUD out. I've had my IUD for about 10 years. And so, yeah, I was just kind of over having that as well. I've been on birth control since I was 15 years old. I am now 28. I've never had a break. So yeah, I'm kind of excited to see how I feel.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically since I was probably 16, 17 years old, I knew I never wanted to birth a child. It was not something that was for me. I think I have a lot of sensory issues for one. I don't think I could mentally wrap my head around that.
Just imagine imagine a baby
inside me. Not even the baby part, just like the thought of like a baby growing inside me grosses me out. Like, I'm like, ew, like, it's weird. But other people, it doesn't bother me. But like for myself, I'm like, gross.
Yeah.
And then I also do, I've been pretty honest about my mental health stuff. Like, I do have mental health. I have anxiety and, some other shit. And so I just think I'd be one of those people that probably would get postpartum really bad. And so, yeah, just for those reasons. And again, you don't even need reasons. If you just don't want to, you don't want to. But
I agree.
Those are kind of my reasons. So I knew, though, that it was going to be a long journey of being on birth control and then waiting, because as a woman, they're not going to sterilize you at a young age because they think you're going to change your mind. which for a lot of people I know, they never change their mind and they're super happy with their decision. And yeah, so I had to basically wait till I was, this year 28, almost 29, for a doctor to take me seriously, give me a recommendation to a surgeon that would do it. And I will say, like, I got really, really lucky with the surgeon I got, because I told her, I was like ready to go in there and be like, and fight for my case of like, no, I for sure don't want to have kids, like all this stuff. And I think another thing that pushed me right now is just seeing what's going on with the regime. Yeah. So it's like, I was like kind of like a now or never thing, because I'm sure as we're further in his presidency, there's going to be more strict rules applied onto us.
He's going to be pulling that Handmaid's Tale bullshit.
Yeah,
and
no,
if not
literally.
him, then his laptop Vance.
Yep. So that's where I was like, you know what? This is getting really alarming. It's something I've wanted to do for a really long time. And I've had like partners in the past that were like, they wanted kids. And so it kind of was always like a fight and an issue. And so, yeah, when I became single, I was like, this is something I want to do for me. And yeah, I'm like super happy I did it. I actually feel very relieved now that it's over. I'm like, oh my God, like my biggest fear can no longer happen to me. Like, we're good.
I was going to ask about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about what your fear was?
Yeah, I just think like kind of what I was talking about is just like like how it'd feel inside me and like all that stuff. Like that was a really big fear for me, and like the postpartum stuff, and yeah, just all of that in general. And just honestly, like I will say, I give it to moms. Like that shit is the hardest fucking job in the whole world to raise a human being. And half the time moms are doing it with absent partners or no partners at all. And honestly, it looks kind of miserable. It looks scary, and it looks like I don't know, like it changes you as a person. It really fucking does. And I've seen it time and time again. Which it doesn't say that I love like my niece, and I love, my friends' kids and all that stuff. But I just feel like it's one of the most selfless things you can do, because it's like, it's no longer about you. And yeah, I just think having that responsibility is not something I ever wanted to like take on, or I don't think people should take it lightly. Like that is like, that's even more whatever than marriage. Like it's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. You got to be on your A game. Like it's a lot. So
and as you and I know, some people that are parents should have never been parents in the first place. I'm not calling out, but that is certainly a thing that happens. And
yeah,
there's a saying, and I'm not saying this about every single person, but I do know that this is a thing. Stupid breeds.
Yeah. Because I just think when people don't think about the repercussions of it and like how hard it actually is, I think, and that's why I will say I am super glad that, for instance, moms on TikTok talk about the realities of it, because I think for so long, society and the patriarchy wanted women to be blind to what being a mom is, because once you're in it, that's it. You can't get out of it. And that's why I feel like there's so many like people that had so much post-traumatic, what is it called? Like postpartum depression. Yeah. And all those issues, and, having all these bad thoughts and whatever, because it's like
the physical
stuff it does to your body. It changes your brain chemistry. Like it is fucking a whole thing to get pregnant for a woman.
And really quick on that, because I am a man, and I was thinking about this earlier. As a man, when it comes to reproduction, my body is never the one that's at risk or the one that is being looked at under a magnifying glass. It doesn't come down to me holding that child within me and nurturing them. It comes down to the girl.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's not real, but there's a disconnect that's very real between a mom and their child and a father and his child.
Yeah.
And like a lot of that comes from the fact that like a woman's body is at risk whenever she does have a child. Like not just like the changes that take place, but like if she has a C-section, if she rips down there, if God forbid she's bleeding out. Her life is
you
literally
could
at risk.
die.
Hers and the babies.
Yeah. Your teeth can fall out. Your hair
What?
can fall out. Yes.
Oh, God.
There was a girl on TikTok that talked about her teeth falling out because her baby sucked up all the nutrients, and she's 27 and was wearing dentures now. Yeah.
Jesus.
And that's why when people get pregnant, especially by men that don't care about them and their well-being, it's like, do not put your body at risk for someone that's like, it is so important to have such a good partner.
Yeah.
And that is, me and Sam talked about it, what I learned when I got my surgery. I'm like, because I have a girlfriend, and
yeah, we both do.
We both do.
We both got girlfriends, dude.
Wow. And so, yeah, she helped me through the whole process. She was awesome. Like, I could have not done it without her. And it just made me think about all the moms that, like, okay, so I got 2 slits in my hips and then 1 in my belly button. And I forget he has a belly button thing.
I can't. Whenever I even think about that,
He's so grossed out.
I just cringe so hard. So continue. I'm so sorry. I'll just be over here trying to keep it together.
So basically, like, I barely got cut through my, like, tissue or whatever, but I thought about moms that got a C-section. And, like, it hurt for me. So I cannot imagine getting a C-section, for one, because they cut through, like, I think it's like 5 layers of fucking, like, muscle, tissue, like, all this shit. And not only that, but then to, like, have to take care of a baby. Like, that would be
as
so
you're recovering from that.
fucking hard.
As you're still healing from that.
Yes.
And we only get 2.5 months, or women only get 2.5 months of maternity leave here in the States.
And that's
over there in Europe, it's
good.
changed. And with good. Over there in Europe, they get like half a year, maybe to a year.
I've seen some countries that do up to 2 years.
Hell yeah to them, dude.
But
we need more of
my,
that.
No, literally, a lot of my clients, they had jobs where they had to go back after like 6 to 8 weeks.
Ooh, really quick.
Yeah.
Also, side tangent. I just read that Spain did something where if you're having that time of the month, you can take a week off of paid vacation.
Wow.
PTO just for chronic.
Thank God, because
Seriously.
it's like, honestly, if men had periods, we would have had that shit a long time ago. Because it sucks.
I agree. If our balls even like hurt a little bit one time a month, that would have been
my God.
Because patriarchy.
Literally. So yeah, that made me realize though, like, after you give birth, it is such a hard experience, and like it's trauma to the body. It's very traumatic, regardless if you had a good pregnancy or hard one, whatever. But if you don't have a good partner that's gonna, you know what, if you cooked the baby for 9 months, popped out the baby, or got a C-section, like, you get to then just chill for a bit. And it's like, that's when the man or the other partner, whoever you're having a child with,
needs to step the
fuck up. Because it's like, dude, their body just got fucking ripped to shreds. Like, help them out. And so that's where it makes me really, really, really sad to see how many women don't get a good birth experience and postpartum experience because their partners are not being attentive, not being helpful, making it about themselves and being selfish. So it's like, it's so important to think about those kind of things when you're choosing your partner, because it's like, if they have no regard for your life now and they're not very attentive now, they're not going to be more attentive after you give birth. Then you're going to be stuck in a position where you don't have a helpful partner, and it makes me so sad to see. But again,
resentment gets brought into that as well, and you really feel like you're stuck.
And that's why there's so many divorces initiated by women, because they're like, I'm not putting up with this shit forever. And you know what? I love to hear when a woman is getting divorced. Like, when they tell me they're getting divorced, I'm like, congratulations, because I know you put up with some horrid shit to get you to this point. And like, women love fucking hard. And every single one of my friends that I know, like, they love their partner through and through and through and through, sometimes to a fault, which is obviously upsetting. We've all been there. Yeah. But it's like, for someone to love you that hard and get to the point where they're like, you know what? Get me out of here. That means you fucked up really bad. Yeah.
I was going to ask, actually, because you mentioned Steph kind of stepping into the role of like caretaker while you were down and out for the surgery. What do you feel like are some qualities for a partner? I'm not going to say exclusively men.
Yeah.
But
partner,
they're in there too, that make you have like a peace of mind when it comes to like passing the torch during that time when you're recovering. From your experience, go.
Yeah, honestly, because like for those that don't know me, I'm like the biggest fucking control freak ever, and I have to do everything how I want it. It has to be a certain way. I don't really let people help me.
I know. Ugh, God.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
So yeah, it was kind of hard for me to like not be in a position where it was like I could still do those things. And so yeah, she would just like, I think I had to like let go of some expectations of things and like not control how someone else does things, because when I did that, I was like, oh wait, it still got done. It still got done really good. We're good. But yeah, like just for instance, like she never got irritated with me. She was always there to help. She made every meal, cleaned everything. She would help me get, because I couldn't even like for the first couple of days, I couldn't even sit up by myself. Yeah, so it was just like she did a lot of stuff, but like she's a very like attentive person. So like that was helpful. But yeah, like I don't know, it's just like
so being attentive is like
being attentive, like knowing certain things, like she knows I have a upset stomach, so like she got me a bunch of Picot, which is like it's like this like Mexican acid or something, but it literally works like 10,000 times better than any like white people drug I've ever got. Like it's so bomb. Yeah, no, I'll give you some on the way out.
I bet.
But yeah, so she got me a bunch of those.
Taking initiative, probably.
Yeah, like she wasn't there like, well, what do you want me to do with this? Or she just did it. And it's like, I think a lot of the times as women, and I think this is the difference of dated both men and now a woman. But just like women really notice those little things and do it where like, I'm not going to say all men, but like a lot of men don't necessarily notice those really little things. Like she knows like how I would want my sandwich and like make sure to not get like mayo on it, or like make sure to ask for like, because I have a nut allergy. But not all the partners I've had have known those things about me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just, I think that's been the one difference of just like how much she like really pays attention to those little things. But yeah, like I just think there's this one theory that it's like, I think it's called like the John Gottman theory, but it's like you can tell if a couple is gonna like make it or not, because it's like one couple will do something like called a bid for connection. So let's say we're like driving in the car and I'm like, oh my God, look at that cute house. If she just looks and then like smiles or says nothing, it's like, okay, well, she's not returning the bid for connection. But if I'm like, oh my God, look at that house. And she's like, oh my God, yeah, that house is so cute. I love the colors on it. And you know what I mean? Then you have that back and forth, and that's what a bid for connection is. And like it being reciprocated. So,
a bid for connection.
Yeah.
Like you're placing a bid on it. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're like kind of like giving a little like, oh, I want a little thing of like attention or, you know, recognition or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's always returned my bid for connection. I could literally say anything and she like responds. Aww. So honestly, that's really nice too. But
interesting.
Yeah, this has probably been the most healthy relationship I think I've ever been in my whole life. And I don't know if it's because we're both girls or if because we both been through some shit or what, but yeah.
I mean, I think that there's a reason why you ended up with her in particular, out of all the other people that have had their own experiences. I mean, same thing with me and my girlfriend. It's insane the difference between all the other people that I've dated and this one person. Yeah. Because it just works. Yeah.
And you don't have to like try hard.
No,
like, it just is, like,
you don't have to try.
Yeah, it just happens naturally. Yep. Yeah.
And that's how you know you're onto something really good. So
yeah,
for me, I just had to not fuck it up.
Okay, see, and we love that. And I will say, like, when we were first talking about, like, how we're going to, like, delegate this episode or whatever, I was like, oh, Sam, like, maybe you, like, talk about some stuff around, like, the male perspective or whatever. And he came up and he was like, honestly, no, I think I'm just going to ask you questions. Like, I think we should just center it around your surgery and stuff. And I was like, wow. So it's just, like, I will say Sam is one of those men that he's a little bit more tapped in to women and understanding things than I would say majority of men.
On that, really quick, I actually had an experience earlier today with another male. He's a friend of mine. We're coworkers at my job, and we're similar on a lot of levels, but we are not similar in how we plan things.
Okay.
I've been reading this book. I think I told you about it, called Atomic Habits. It's talking about habits. It's one of the most well-known books on like self-help and like about habits on the market right now. Came out in 2018. And I've been reading it recently, very slowly at my own pace and just taking as much as I can from this book. But it's been complementing things that I've realized I need, which is structure and planning. So
like you felt like you lacked that, or like
it felt like it was becoming more concrete. The structures that were already in place from my own personal experiences and like trying to just struggle. The struggle, just trying to struggle. And it's not a bad struggle, but I wasn't where I needed to be, so I continued to struggle. And now I feel like it's coming way more naturally in the way that this book is presenting things like, and it's kind of hard to like put this to one single thing because it goes over so much. But I was talking to my friend and he started asking me questions about like, well, how do you plan things? And I kind of explained it to him a little bit. And he basically said, well, that's not how my brain works. I wing it. And I'm like, you wing it? So like, hypothetically, if you were to go to a trip to Miami, which is something that he wants to do eventually, how would you do that? And he's just like, I don't know. I just figured it out on the way there. And I'm like, okay, well, humor me for a second. Say you want to go to Miami. Okay. How long are you going to try to be there for? Maybe like, I don't know, a couple of days. Okay. Say we do it for the weekend. Okay. That works. All right. Well, where are you going to stay? Somewhere cheap, maybe like a hotel. Okay. Well, you could either do a hotel, a motel, or a hostel. Okay. So it keeps it cheap. Let's say that we keep the budget to like $1,000 or something like that. And like, I kept going through the steps that it would take. This is just talking about the goal. Too. This isn't even about the steps that it takes to get to that goal. And when I started talking to him about that, it sounded like his brain kind of overloaded. And I was like, how? Okay. Also, I brought up, because he has a wife. What happens if you bring your wife into it? And he was like, oh, it all changes. And I was like, I know why. It's because she's going to want to plan and you're going to want to wing it. And thank God for him in particular. They mesh really, really well. And I'm really, really happy for the fact that like she compliments him. And I hope that he also compliments her in ways that I just don't know because I don't know her. But I was like, oh, I think differently than a lot of men. I didn't realize that like it kind of hurts them to think about the steps that it takes to get to this shit. And it also might be because like I have big ambitions. I'm not somebody that likes to settle with like one thing. I'm not somebody that likes to sacrifice passions. I want to have all of them. And I feel like I've actually been working on that really, really well recently.
He's been doing his music, the podcast. Yep.
I've also been watching videos on like mixing and mastering and like taking notes on the podcast as well. Editing. And it's like a pretty good balance. And like, I don't feel like stressed out or anything like that. I'm not constantly. This is one of the things that I noticed as far as like a change within myself over the years. When I was in music school, I was willpower alone trying to get through it. It was forcing myself to continue studying or making music. And eventually I got burnt out to the point where my nervous system was in such a heightened state constantly because there was so much pressure I put on myself that I eventually just had to kind of release it. And I'm never going to go back on music. Like, I'm never going to stop. I have a music note tattooed on me for that exact reason, so I can always go back to it. But I also had to acknowledge the fact that I was doing what a lot of other people do. Which is to brute force something. And when I finally started to like read this book, it unlocked a lot of things that I had thought about, but I never conceptualized. Which is like your habits and building a system rather than a goal. Like a system is something that helps you to get to that goal. A goal is a good direction to go into, but you can't just brute force a lot of things. Like you can try to be like for an instance, I wanted to just be a good musician. I wanted to be a good artist. I wanted to be famous. How the fuck am I going to do that? If I'm not practicing, if I'm not putting the hours in that I need to in certain places that need to, which is like, you know, letting the creativity flow when it can flow and not trying to force that shit. Because when you try to force it and it doesn't come, it leads to more negative consequences, which is something that I realized. And I know I'm trying to reach the end of this tangent.
No,
but
yeah,
I
got a bunch of good notes on it. I'm excited because you said a lot of good things.
Okay. Wrapping it up really quick. I was just like, yeah, I think that it's not a bad thing to plan out things. I think it's actually a really important thing, especially if you're serious about your goal.
Yeah.
I am a very ambitious person that's serious about their goals. I'm not fucking around here.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be somebody else coming to save me either.
Right.
And it's not going to be the motivation that comes just willy-nilly whenever the hell I want it. You know, we're humans.
Yeah.
We're not machines.
Right.
And we have to be compassionate about ourselves, which is the number one thing that I've learned from all of my experiences.
Yeah.
Just not even within the last like couple of months that I've been reading this book, but like when I was in high school, I was a completely different person when I was in high school. I was fed so much shit from the alt-right pipeline, from people that are also in that pipeline as well. I, looking back, noticed a lot of misogynistic tendencies that I didn't even realize.
Wow.
They were just standard and normalized.
Wow.
And it would have been a completely different look on it nowadays to look back on high school and how people joked and what people said behind closed doors and what they said to you in confidence.
Yeah.
It was just a completely different world. But being the person that came out on the other side with all of that, just listening to myself, listening to the fact that I'm not comfortable being with these people that think these things, listening to the fact that I'm burnt out right now, and listening to the fact that I'm strung out between doing this thing or doing that thing. Actually, the other day, it was such a small thing that triggered me. It was either go and work on a video after a workout or go and take a shower. And I couldn't decide what to do, so I just took a nap.
Okay.
Because I couldn't. I just couldn't. Yeah. So I went and just took a nap for a little bit, and then I came back, and then I got back onto it, and then I finished. But that's something that I have to plan for myself going forward. And I don't have to judge myself either.
Right. So honestly, like, I agree with that. So going back to the beginning of you feeling like, wow, like men don't know how to plan and like they don't thought process it out. It's like that's where women talk about the mental fatigue that we have is like, it's like, for instance, I've heard so many wives tell their husbands on whether it's videos, my friends, or husband, boyfriend, whoever, of just like, oh my God, they don't want to help around the house. And then they'll get in a fight about it with their partner. And the partner's just like, well, just tell me what you want me to do. And it's just like, that's literally like, no, if you see the dishes need to be done, do the dishes. If you see the floor needs to be sweep the floor. Don't sit there and ask me, what are my chores, mommy? Like, dude, come on.
Exactly. Yeah. You're a grown-ass man. Start acting like it. Start doing the thing that we pride ourselves on doing, which is to take charge and actually fucking do it. Put your money where your mouth is. Yeah.
So I'm glad you brought that up because, like, for most people, you know what I mean? Like he said, when his wife, if my wife is going, like, the whole thing changes because I'm sure she plans it out. She figures out what restaurant. She does all this stuff. And
she doesn't want to stay in a hostel where there's going to be a bunch of other people on bed. She wants to be in a nice hotel where there might be a pool. She wants to have a car or something like things that like a single man would be fine with, but like a couple is not going to participate in.
Right.
Unless you're like, the outlier.
Right.
You both like to rough it or something.
Camp it.
Rough camp it.
No, but I agree. And honestly, like, I think it is a good point of not pushing yourself though past burnout. And how, creating these systems really do help you get to your goal.
Because you let them carry you.
Right.
It does the work for you.
Right. Yes. Because even like, for instance, with my surgery, it's like, okay, my goal was to get my tubes removed. Okay, well, the process was I had to go to the doctors and I had to go get referred to another doctor. Then I had to get get checked out and get some blood work. And then I eventually got to go and then, okay, cool. Now I'm healing. So it's like that was the system to get to my goal.
Right.
But like, I think Sam brings up a good point though with that and like getting burnt out because I think fires of change, like it taught me a lot, but it also like, I think towards the end, me and Kylie were so burnt out because it's like, we were doing it every single week. We made, 2.5, almost 3 seasons, because we cut our 3rd season short.
Yeah.
But we went for it, and like we had a lot of fun. She taught me so much. It was so fun hanging out with them and like doing it. But it was like every week of really watching what's going on in the news and not being able to look away from it. Doing a lot of research and stuff, and it was heavy, and then it would end up sorry.
I feel that though.
No, literally, it's so fucking dry. But yeah, and then it's like Sam and Kylie were both driving from like super far. Kylie would be stuck in traffic. Like it just, everyone was burnt out. We were tired. We had no more. I didn't feel like the passion was there anymore.
It wasn't
like
fun.
It wasn't fun anymore, honestly.
Yeah. And that's the number one thing when going for something like this, where the reward, the payoff that, is usually associated with like mainstream podcasts, which is to have like a big audience, to have like sponsors, to have money in your account. It doesn't happen for a long time.
Yeah.
And the thing that separates this saying is called the wheat from the chaff, is those that build systems that constantly reward you from the system themselves are the ones that are going to go the furthest.
Okay.
Because they're satisfied. They feel productive. And like I learned that from music.
Okay.
If you are doing it for the wrong reasons, meaning like you're only doing it for money, you're only doing it for fame, and you're not doing it for the creation of music and how that makes you feel, and the stories that you get to express through your music, and the feelings that you get from making a complete song, if those aren't there, you're going to get burnt out and you're going to stop. And any little reason can set you off. But I feel like I have a lot of fun on these chats.
No, okay, and I agree, because like you said, it's like when we were we didn't really, we were building a system with Fires of Change, but it was still like there's some kinks to work out and stuff, and it became not fun, because it was like, okay, we're doing it every week, and like, and we're not getting enough viewers, or we're not getting enough followers, like people aren't really tuning in, like you just get kind of burnt out, and you're just like, what are we doing this for? Like this is, you know what I mean?
Right,
but then I think when I had the break, and then it was like, then me and you started talking about like, okay, well, like we both like doing podcasts, like let's do one together. Then I feel like I've noticed on the break, I was like, honestly, I kind of miss like getting together, and I miss like having a goal of like something. And I wanted to create another system, because especially with what's been going on the past like couple months.
Oh my God, we need to talk about it.
Yeah, because I felt myself more anxious, and there was nowhere for that energy to go. And it was like, it was just building up on me. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, we need to talk about what's going on. So it kind of
already does two things. It alleviates a little bit of that, because you can talk to me about it. You can talk to us about it.
Right.
And it's a little fun too.
Right.
Because we have a good rapport.
Right.
We can joke about things. We can let out some of that energy that's been built up.
Yeah, no, literally. And just like, it is nice getting like another perspective on things. And you know what I mean? Like it makes your mind go like all day. I was like, okay, what do I want to talk about? What do I want to bring up? Like what's important to me? Because it's like, especially after watching Bad Bunny like perform the Super Bowl, literally 10 years ago, he was like a grocery bagger at a grocery store. That's and like insane. Making music. And it's like, he literally is like, yeah, I believed in myself and like where I'm at, like literally one of the biggest stages in the world. And and what that meant to people. And so I feel like that kind of got my like flame ignited a little bit again.
I kind of had a similar, not with Bad Bunny, but I watched this movie called Iron Lung.
Okay.
I don't know if you know anything about it, but
is it with when people had polio and they had to be in an iron lung?
No. I love that you made that parallel though, because an iron lung is a real thing for that. This is a different iron lung. This is a movie that was made by a famous YouTuber named Markiplier.
Okay.
Markiplier is somebody that I've been watching for a very, very long time, since I was in high school.
Okay.
And back then, if you were to see the night and day difference between his content back then and what's going on now, it's literally like day and night. It's insane. And the biggest takeaway, and the thing that got me more motivated, is that he made a movie that was at the #1 of the charts in America for like a week, tailing behind a Sam Raimi film.
Wow.
And if you don't know who Sam Raimi is the director for the Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire, all 3 of them. He is a very, very famous director. He directed the Evil Dead movies when they were a thing.
Okay.
And Markiplier, a YouTuber with his own audience that he did by himself, got to #1/2 in America, and he did not go through a distributing studio.
Wow.
It was all from his own pocket, his own funding, his own drive, will, determination not to give up on this project. And the payoff was amazing. And he started off just like me, this weird kid on the internet, just trying to make videos, trying to be himself, be weird, be cringe, be whatever the fuck. And like, I'm even getting a little bit emotional because he never gave up.
Yeah.
And it was fun for him. I feel like that was the biggest thing. Like, of course, burnout's going to come every once in a while.
Yeah.
But it's also a characteristic of those who are driven to figure out a way past burnout and to just establish a system that overturns burnout. You go a little bit easier on yourself. You take a break every once in a while. If you feel like you're burnt out, you make a shorter episode. Exactly. You lead yourself with compassion.
Yeah.
That's the #1 thing that I took away from this little experience is you lead yourself with compassion.
Yeah.
And if you're not compassionate to yourself, how are you going to expect anybody else to be compassionate for you?
That's honestly, and that's true, because I think with Fires of Change, like I was like getting almost frustrated because I'm like, well, why is more stuff not happening? Why are we not? But then again, like I was not being compassionate. I was like stressing myself out, and it's just like it took away from like it being fun, honestly.
And if it's not fun, dude, it's not going to last.
Yeah.
And it's a sad reality, but I feel like even if it doesn't, like, you know, even if it's not fun for a little bit, that's normal. If it's not fun for like, and you feel that burnout and you're dreading going to the next episode, then that's when it becomes a problem and something has to change. It's not that everything has to go away, but something is fundamentally offset.
Yeah. Well, and I think so before with Fires of Change, we were doing every week, and then we would have like a 2-3 week break in between seasons.
Yep.
And then, but with Uncontrolled Population, we were like, okay, we know we got burnt out. Like, we can't do it that frequently. So now we do it every other Thursday. And then we post every other Friday, the consecutive Friday. And it's like, we know we're going to have 2 seasons a year. And we're going to have some time off. And if we got to move stuff around, he's going to be traveling. I'm going to be traveling. You know what I mean? We have stuff to do. It's like, it's okay because it's meant to be fun. It's not meant to be stressful. But yeah. Yeah.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
That's my favorite saying. It's a journey.
Or it's a marathon, not a sprint. Like you just,
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm very glad to be on this little podcasting journey.
Me too. Me too.
Always.
And honestly, even I think, like, okay, for instance, before it was like I'd make a whole dinner and then we get set up and then it would be a thing and then it was just, the process would take so long.
Right.
Where now it's like we get in here, we set up, we start, we finish. Like, I think even the duration of that too, because it's not so daunting as before. It was like 3-4 hours, where now it's like, okay, 2 basically. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's, I feel like more doable, not overwhelming. Like we were staying up late before, scale down. Yeah. We were staying up late, having to get up to go to work early in the morning. You know what I mean? So that's just not a recipe for success. So yeah.
And you got to listen to that too.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's hard sometimes because our brains kind of override how our bodies feel.
Yeah.
And that information kind of gets crossed. But, you know, like if you are feeling, and I'm not saying this particularly to you, but like to anybody out there that's listening, that's struggling with a passion, I'm not saying do not continue to pursue your passion, but there's always different ways to achieve the goal that you want. And sometimes the way that you're doing it isn't the way that's right for you.
Right.
And it's a hard thing to let that go. And I completely understand because I've gone through something very similar recently. But I'm actually more fulfilled with the little progress that I'm making than I was when I was banging my head against a brick wall trying to get this thing to work.
Yeah.
And that's more important to me than the fame. That's more important to me than the money. That's more important to me than having a big ass audience. It's because I'm doing this for me.
Right.
I'm doing this because it feels good for me, and because I'm not gonna give up on that. So that's my little thing for you guys. And I don't know if you have anything else to add, Miss Payton.
Yeah, no, honestly, I agree with that. And I think, because it's funny you say that, because obviously I got my tubes out and I'm with a woman.
Yeah.
So many people were like, why are you getting your tubes out? Like, you obviously can't get pregnant. And I'm like, well, yeah, but it's like, I've wanted to do this my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know this is something that I've never wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And as shitty as we know the world is, and, you know, men do horrible things to women. So it's just like, I want to make sure I'm protected.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, I don't want to be stressed about it anymore. It was something always in the back of my head that it's like, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. So it's like, I did it for me, and now I feel a lot better.
Good.
But yeah, I just think I did watch, I was telling you about it. So there's this documentary called The Janes, and it was back before Roe v. Wade, the first time.
Yeah.
And it was this group of women that realized how awful it was to get an abortion during that time. You either had to go to really shady doctors, women died, women bled out. Some of the male doctors even sexually assaulted them before and after they got an abortion.
Fucking pigs.
They were extorting women for money. So this group of women was like, okay, something needs to be kind of done here. So it kind of started with one woman, and she ended up helping one of her friends find a doctor that would like give an abortion. And then her other friend heard about it and was like, well, I have this friend, and, you know, I have to help her get one and whatever. So it kind of just started at this network of women. And it just slowly expanded, and then it got to the point where the women in this learned how to give abortions. Oh. So then they were able to give like really cheap and free abortions, and like really stepped up and helped their community. Because a lot of the times it was like, you know, girls that were younger, girls in bad marriages, women had already had kids. And again, you don't need a reason why to have abortion. If you want one, you can have one. But
your choice. It's
your choice, yeah. But it was just so cool to see women kind of create this community for women. Yeah. And so while I was watching it, and like, because I was watching it while I was like recovering from my surgery and stuff, and I was just like, honestly, women fought so fucking hard for me to be able to have that right and make that choice. And again, I had to jump through all the fucking barriers to finally have a doctor listen to me. But it just goes to show that, like, if we keep fighting and we keep pushing the pendulum forward, like, where we can get. But then, again, we know Roe v. Wade got overturned, even though people are like, that can never happen. It happened,
it's
which
insane.
Now that was the first domino to fall. So now it's like, that's why abortion was left up to the states' rights, which then ended up basically putting all these women in danger and like killing them because they weren't given access to literal medical care. Like, an abortion is medical care. So yeah, it's hard, but it goes to show though that it's never gonna be taken away from us, because it's like, at the end of the day, women are gonna somehow figure it out. And it's like, even for me, like, I've known people that have had abortions and stuff, and then they've helped me get that information. And then it's like, it's actually, the site is called Hey Jane. If any woman needs it, you don't have to have insurance. You can do it without insurance.
I'll be sure to link that in the bio.
Yeah, no, literally. But yeah, so the website is now called Hey Jane, which I just love because it's obviously based off of the Janes. But yeah, there's some really good resources out there that can help people and stuff like that. So yeah, I was just thankful in my healing process that there's a lot of, you know, women out there that are fighting the fight. And, you know, there's a lot of men that are aiding in that as well. So
I'm really glad about what you said, actually, about women will figure it out, even though Roe v. Wade got overturned.
Yeah.
I love that because we think about the negatives of like here and now, but we don't think about the things that have happened in the past, like the Janes, like the fact that in a society where they was very, very, very outlawed to have an abortion, they still managed to find a way.
Yeah.
And it became a symbol of hope, actually, for women.
Yeah.
So it gives me a little bit more hope, too, hearing that and knowing that you also believe that just because shit's bad right now doesn't mean that we can't fix it.
Right. Like, we're going to get there. We just got to keep trying harder, honestly.
Hey, the fucking Nazis were still a thing. They still happened. And we, even though they tried to crawl back into their little shitholes, we dragged them out by their taints. And have you ever seen Inglourious Bastards?
I have not, but I know it's about killing Nazis, so I love it.
There's a scene in there where this little guy, this commander-in-chief at the very end, spoiler alerts, guys, if you don't want to hear it, turn away now. He gets a Nazi symbol, a swastika, not tattooed, cut into his forehead so that everybody knows. And you fuckheads that are out there that think that you can get away with the shit, all of you motherfuckers, we're gonna find you. You're gonna pay. Like, you are gonna fucking pay.
You are. No, you are.
Nazi garbled assholes.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing that people don't realize right now is this is not gonna just like, okay, cool, like we're done. It's like eventually there's gonna be trials held, and it's like we're seeing that with the Epstein files right now. And honestly, I've seen a lot of the Congress people fighting really fucking hard to get this shit out. And like Jasmine Crockett, love her. She's been fighting like so hard. Representative, I think Melanie, I'm trying to think of her last name. But she's been really in it. But yeah, I do think there's people like fighting back against it. And I think eventually, like, we're kind of seeing the fall of the patriarchy, and we're seeing like in tarot. And that's actually another point I wanted to bring up is tomorrow, Friday the 13th, which it is a lucky day for women, but the patriarchy and stuff kind of demonized that day and made it like unlucky and shit, but it's not. But that's when Saturn enters Aries. So for our Saturn return people, which is us, when you were talking about like systems and responsibilities, and you know, that's literally what this is ushering in for us, is, you know, these more of a structure. And so it's,
I got a quick clarifying question. So Saturn returns. I know that Maddie, who we will have back on the podcast, has chatted about Saturn returns a little bit as this maturing and of this like second phase of your life. So it goes from the second phase of your life as Saturn returns into Aries. What is kind of the difference? Because it sounds like the same thing, but I just wanted to like clarify. Yeah,
so right now Saturn is in Pisces. So people that had you're Pisces.
Birthday's coming up in next week.
No, oh my god, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Fun. Okay, so basically Saturn, when you're entering your Saturn return, it's basically where Saturn was when you were first born. So like the constellations and stuff look very similar. And so we were in Pisces. Saturn was in Pisces. So all the people with their Pisces and Saturn just went through there. So they're finished. They learned their lessons they needed to learn. And now Saturn's moving into Aries. So for us that have Aries in our chart, and that's like more of a collective with age groups. So like everyone my age is going through it. Everyone Sam's age is going through it, because it's more of like a collective energy going through it, which we are seeing played out on, you know, mass scale with what's going on. But yeah, so for us, this is our point of like responsibility, learning, creating a good system, really like buckling down and, you know, getting a hold of our responsibilities and stuff. And some people are, you know, if you haven't learned those things up until now, you're going to probably have a really fucking hard time through your Saturn return. But the people that have been like trying and whatever, it's said to that their fruitions are going to start to come out, and stuff like that.
Oh my God, that reminds me of Maddie's first time giving me a reading. She said that I was waiting for my ships to come back to port because I had sent a bunch of ships out into the world. It has been a few years since I've known Maddie and since I got that initial reading, but I definitely feel like they are slowly
coming into fruition.
And I'm still sending ships out too.
Yeah. No, yeah. And that's where one creator I follow on TikTok was talking about like don't get stressed out about it because this is everything you've like hoped, prayed for, manifested, whatever you believe. This is like basically what you asked for. So
don't be afraid of it.
Yeah, don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. Really try to look at what lessons you're supposed to be learning. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Listen to yourself. Listen to what your gut says.
Yeah.
Especially because as my therapist says, your gut will never lie to you.
No, and that's so, so, so true. Like, I think as we see it play out with the government, all this stuff has just so many things of making you feel you have to feel a certain way. You have to think a certain way. You have to look a certain way. There was so much talk around the commercials for the Super Bowl. They were all about the GLP-1s. They were about sports betting. They were about AI. They were about, so everything that it was selling to us was like how to think. And me and Sam talk about it. Like, if you don't use it, you lose it. And that's why I personally don't use AI and stuff. Granted, it's like fucking ingrained in even Google searches now. I'll Google something and it's like, do you want the AI? I'm like, no, I don't want the AI thing. I want to look for it myself.
Before I got off TikTok, there was a little silly one which was like, every time that I go to search Google now, it's like, hey, Google, how do I tie a shoe? And then it goes to the embodiment of Google as this guy. And then he like gets 2 water bottles and turns it upside down. And then he gets the other one, turns it upside down. And then he answers.
Oh, because it's wasting water. Oh my God. See, it is. So
it is.
It is. Yeah. So that's why it's like, it's so important to me to like keep up with learning and, growing and whatever. But it is to look inside yourself, and it's like, you do have the right answers inside yourself. Like, if you've done the work, you've done the shadow work, whatever you want to call it. But it's like, I finally feel comfortable in my own skin. I feel comfortable in my thought processes. I know where I stand with things now. Like, I feel very sure of myself.
Yeah.
And so it feels nice because it's like I'm not looking to outside stuff or things or people to fulfill that for me.
I think that's a very beautiful thing and a very good sense of self-identity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's where we're at right now. And yeah.
All right. Well, I'll have you know we've actually been going for like an hour and 30 minutes.
Oh,
I think
shit.
This is our longest episode
so
far.
it is.
So, Air 5.
Woo! Okay.
And I think it's about time that we wrap up. What you said?
I agree. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, everybody, so much for tuning in. We hope to see you back 2 weeks from now. This episode will be posted next Friday. And I'm Sam.
I'm Payton.
And this has been Uncontrolled Population. See you all later.
Bye.